Well, big up, and welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I am here with one of my closest and dearest friends, Lee. Big up, Lee. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. Looking forward to the action. Looking forward to football returning after this long gap.
Right. It'll be nice to have football back, or depending on how you look at it, I guess. Club football, let's put it that way. Because for myself, I know that. Let's get this light on here for you. I know for myself, I do watch the national team. So I can understand though. If you're not into the national team thing, then that's a different story. And you guys qualified too, by the way. So I mean, I thought you might be happy about that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, it's a good thing, isn't it? Don't hold out much hope for us winning it, but you never know.
But you're now like the official first European team to qualify, which is big. It's big.
Are we? Are we the first European team to qualify?
First European team to qualify is England.
Didn't realise that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see something real quick. Okay, all right. Just getting a little update on something about Manchester United. We can maybe talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the preview of this big game coming up. Those joining us, big up to each and every one of you that is joining us in the chat. I'm sure there's been a bunch. Something that I've noticed as of late is that there are a bunch of channels out there nowadays, and I do appreciate the fact that you guys rock with us on this channel, and that you even if you can't stay for the entire episode, you at least show love by clicking the like, and also just popping in to say hello or maybe leaving a comment. I've seen the comments have started to pick up a little bit of momentum, and that's why I've been more active in trying to answer them in turn. But we're almost there, like Lee just said, right at the end of the international break, and the first waiting for us is a proper occasion, and that is Manchester United coming to Anfield for me, and I'm sure for Lee as well, and for plenty of football people I speak to. It's the biggest fixture in English football. Would you go as far as to say that, Lee, as well, right?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it's the two most successful sides.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure I wasn't taking liberties by saying that. Some people don't. I actually saw an awesome, and I will admit it wasn't really, really well done documentary, and it basically highlighted about how there's football and then there's Manchester United versus Liverpool football, and how the two, as in how much of the football world gravitates around this fixture. So you can feel the interest. I would say, I'm sure. I don't know. Our man on the scene can maybe tell us, what the fixture or what the vibe is in the city currently. But from what I'm getting as a response to, I've had people tune in to earlier shows where we're not even talking about Manchester United, and they're telling us who they think is going to be in the lineup and everything else already. So I can understand that it's starting to build, and it's interesting because the focus inside the club has to be simple: keep it going, keep this momentum going to this big matchup and everything else. This is a game Liverpool should be looking forward to. Obviously, it's a chance to bounce back from those disappointments that we've had right before the break. And it's a chance to do it on a huge, high-profile setting against a rival who've got plenty of problems of their own. Let's also not forget the reality check. Liverpool are 1 point off the top. Keep that in mind. Keep that close to the chest when people try to, chop down at the Liverpool tree of bravado. And if we can come out on the other side of this next run with a handful of good results and performances, a lot more people will be convinced we're absolutely into a title race, more so than some that have already dropped off of that bandwagon as it is. But it is what it is, you know. So we had a press conference. I know that some of you saw it, some of you possibly didn't. So I'll just give you some of the highlights from that press conference. On the match versus Manchester United, our coach, Arne Slot, said, no player resting. That was a huge, huge statement. They firmly ruled out resting players, calling suggestions to do so very strange, emphasizing the importance of fielding a strong side. I'm going to ask you this, Lee. Slot called the idea of resting players very strange. Do you think his insistence on always fielding the strongest 11 helps build rhythm, or could it risk player fatigue across a long campaign like we're going to have? You know, we're going to have many competitions. We got players coming back from international break, but also having long distances from traveling. We remember how, you know, I remember that Wolves game where McAllister came back from playing some qualifiers in Argentina, and he looked absolutely dreadful in that game, which is one of the few games that he did look dreadful that year. Is it a concern to you? Very strange. Is that a concern?
That he'll overplay the best players, possibly because it happened last season.
Right.
See, the thing is, we haven't really got any more to pick from in midfield, have we? Like, we've got Wirtz now, like, but yeah, I suppose it does make an extra body in midfield. But last season we did look tired around the Paris games and the Carabao Cup final. So he's got to find some sort of balance, some happy medium where he can rest, play. You know, you rest one player one match and one another match. You know, but we've got a lot of games coming up anyway. We got 7 in 3 weeks, haven't we, before the next international break? And yeah, he's just going to have to get his balance and act right, isn't he?
Right. Well, then, I mean, I like that Slot's not taking his foot off the gas pedal. Basically, he's trying to figure out some way to get some type of rhythm with this team. But it is a concern to me that we've all emphasized rotation, and we know that some of these players that we're trying to focus on aren't exactly the most in form. Some have gained some rhythm from playing from their international team. I don't know if that necessarily always constitutes that it's going to work out for the club, because it's two different systems, two different types of like precision when it comes to playing. I don't know. Are you in that camp where you believe that if a player is all of a sudden red hot international play, should he possibly get into the club fixture, or is it more like, oh, whatever was working before, just stick with that?
Not necessarily pick players just because they've done well on international duty, but it doesn't harm, does it? It doesn't do any harm if they've done well when they've been away. It means they're in form. I mean, Cody did quite well. He scored a few goals, didn't he?
That's one of the reasons why I was asking the question. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So did McAllister. McAllister scored 2 goals for Argentina.
Who would he play in Argentina?
I could pull that up for you. Give me 1 second. They 1 sec.
Was in Florida or something, I think, the game, whoever he plays.
Oh, was it? I don't know about that.
I don't know who he played.
That would be wild if they played it would have to be, I would hope, not a qualifier.
It was a friendly. I think it was a friendly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who he played, but Brian said he plays a friendly. And,
okay, well, that makes sense.
In America, yeah. And McAllister got 2, which is good news. That's encouraging because we badly need him up to speed.
Oh, yeah, okay. They played against Puerto Rico, that's why.
Okay, Puerto Rico. Well, they're still a reasonable enough standard, aren't they? Like the central.
Oh no, just playing around. Big up to all my Boniquas out there. To Puerto Rico. Oh, there you go. I was just watching a Fat Joe. Big up to Big, rest in peace, Big Pun. I was just watching a piece on Fat Joe, who's like a very notable Puerto Rican. Bad Bunny, who's Puerto Rican as well. Big up to him as well. But yeah, they scored. I think it was Martinez got some type of record too by scoring. He scored 2 goals too. So Martinez scored 2. McAllister scored 2. Montiel scored 1, and Echeverria scored 1 as well. But the one that was an own goal by one of them was an own goal. The last I just spoke on. Big up, Eric. Big up. Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, he did score in that game. Let's see. I'm gonna see how many minutes he played as well. I'm sure that was a sellout too, because if they played, it makes sense if they played in Florida because the pitch would be horrible. Puerto Rican pitches aren't that great of pitches.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's quite close, isn't it? The plane ride from Florida to Puerto Rico.
Oh, absolutely. It's like less than an hour flight, not even.
It's good news to hear that he scored too. Whoever the opposition was, it gives him a little bit of impetus, doesn't it? Like,
he played 90 minutes in that game. Played 90 minutes.
News, I think. I mean, you could say you want him to play less, but he's been trying to get properly fit, hasn't he? So
yeah.
I mean, if that was how many days rest has he got then? If that was last night,
so I guess it is a little bit of a better flight, I think, from Florida to England than it would be from Argentina to England. That much I know too.
Yeah, it's a good bit closer, isn't it? For his journey back.
But I don't know. I unfortunately have not traveled from Argentina to England just yet, or either or. So it's all good. It's all good. Messi had a great game too in that game too. Really great game. Well, the other things that he spoke on were respect. Proper respect for United. He pretty much put it. He said, despite their league position, Slot believes Manchester United possess high-quality players and sees Sunday clash as very, quote-unquote, very interesting. I've been quick to make sure that I've also said I don't want to undervalue Manchester United. I think that they do have good players. Let's not get it twisted. Manchester United has some very, very good players. Whether the system that they're playing in and everything else, and blah, 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 that's one thing. But, Miguel Cotto, I don't know. I'll tell you, Hector Macho Camacho was from Puerto Rico. Eric, I know you just said you're a big boxing fan. That's a blast from the past. Rest in peace, actually, too, by the way, to Macho Camacho. He was he was one of Puerto Rico's greats when it came to boxing. If you're into that, if you're into boxing, at least. And if you don't know who he is, definitely take a look at it. Take a look at him. He was special. He was definitely special, and he actually there's a couple documentaries on it too. I just watched a documentary on HBO about it. That's on him as well. But Slot was talking about respect. I've been emphasizing respect too, in the sense of saying that I want to be respectful, but not overly respectful. Like, as in, I want to definitely have some bit of bark in our bite, with our bite when we go against them. I want them to want to win this game, to not only want to win this game, obviously, but to know the gravity of what it means to win this game. So I don't want them to respect them so much that they allow for them to get into their game or get into our heads, because you know how they play. I think Lisandro Martinez might be back, by the way, for this game. I don't know if he's going to be starting. I doubt he'll be starting, but he could find some minutes in this game. The vegan butcher. Obviously, Bruno is a pain in the neck when it comes to our opposition, and certainly one of the more hated players when it comes to that. Despite their league struggles, even with Arne warning that United still have top-class talent, is that respect tactical caution, or is it a psychological strategy, do you think, to keep Liverpool focused and avoid complacency? What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, I was quite interested in his press conference, because he kept referring to the fact that we have to do better, didn't he? And he said the amount of chances we're giving up is we can't do it if we want to be successful. And I was pleased with that. He wasn't trying to hide or not, and he was saying, "I know it hasn't been right so far." And I'm quite optimistic that given the 2-week break we've had, that him and his coaches have had a good think about things, and they've surely watched a lot of United in the past 2 weeks, as United will have watched of us. But I'm quite optimistic that he can come out on top in this battle of wits with Amorim. But I think it'd be a tough game. I think we'll have to scrap for the points.
I think it's a. I saw HBO did this thing for. They had like they had a baller. There's a show called Ballers, and they did this big it was a full day of just episode, a marathon of Ballers, and that's about American football. But the only reason I'm bringing that up is because there was a scene where it wasn't even Baller. Excuse me, my apologies. It was on actually Hernandez. It was on the Hernandez story. It was a documentary I saw on Hernandez story. And in the piece, I think Ballers had one little segment of it, a little version of this too. But in the one piece, Hernandez gave Hernandez, who is the infamous Hernandez, New England Patriot player. He made this comment. He made a comment about the upcoming game or something like that about the opponents, and Belichick went off on him in the piece. I'm bringing that only up because I think that Slot is very, very measured when it comes to press conferences. So was Jurgen when it came to that too, where it's just classic press etiquette, in that he's never going to give the opponent bulletin board fuel, basically. As in, he's right. A wounded United can still hurt you, but the challenge for Liverpool was respecting the badge without playing timidly against it. And you want to say respectful things, but you don't want to say something where they're going to be like, oh, this coach is doesn't believe in us, or this coach thinks that we're trash or whatever, which a lot of people are. I've even seen some journals go as far as to say that Manchester United are favorites in this game, which is crazy, by the way. Crazy. I wouldn't go as far as to say they're favorites, but I do think that I can go as far as to say that derbies are equalizers when it comes to expectations, but I'm not going to go as far as to say that Manchester United are favorite in this game. The other thing that he talked about was a big occasion. I mean, that's exactly what I was just referencing to, though. He understands it. He underlined the magnitude of the fixture for both him and his squad, stressing its importance in the current context. Slot described the clash as a big occasion, quote unquote. Do you think, I'm going to ask you, Lee, do you think the emotional weight of a Liverpool United fixture fuels the team's intensity? Do you think this is going to bring out something in this team that we've kind of all been waiting to see somewhat? Or is it sometimes that added pressure might, get under the skin of some of these players? Do you think? What do you think?
No, I certainly hope it'll get a good performance out of them. I mean, if they can't get themselves up for this game, then what game can they get themselves up for? I think it's the perfect game to come back to. We're at home as well, which will help get the fans behind us, and get after them. I think it'll be a positive thing rather than a negative thing. I don't think it'll be too much for us, and people will wilt under the pressure. I think we'll stand up to the pressure, hopefully, and thrive off it. Well, when I say, buzz off it, get energy from it, and because the crowd should be up for it. It's our 4 kickoff on a Sunday. Should be a decent noise out of the crowd.
Which I'm happy to see, by the way. I'm sure you are too. It's not some noon kickoff or something after an international break, which we've had a couple of times.
I know. I don't know who's got it this time, the early kickoff, but they're shit then. 12:30 Saturday kickoff after the international break. Mate, they're killers then.
They are. It's tough enough to get, into the rhythm, but then to have to, get up bright and early and be the first game is not easy. Not easy at all. Let me see. I'll see.
We had so many under Klopp, didn't we? Remember, they looked at it and we'd had about 3 times as many as City.
You know who has it? Forest and Chelsea have that game.
Okay.
Yep. So that is one game I'll probably be missing, as that will be a 4:30 in the morning game for me. So I'll be missing out on that one. But luckily for some of you, you can check that out. I think what I really noticed too, what he said and spoke on, was that there's a need for a reaction. I mean, let's be honest, following 3 straight losses, Slot said the team must respond with the same intensity as they would after a winning run, which is interestingly put. Basically he's just saying we've got to keep an intensity, an edge of intensity for us, and not move away from it. After 3 defeats, I'm going to try to put this properly. What defines a proper reaction performance? What is this proper reaction performance that he's talking about? Energy, discipline, tactical clarity. What is it that he's talking about, do you think?
What kind of reaction? Hopefully. I just hope it's an efficient performance that we can limit them, get in front and then limit them. I'd like to see us, go in front and then just stay in front instead of being dragged back. That's what I'm hoping for. I'd like to see a clean sheet. A 2-0 victory would be nice for me, one in which we give up few chances. Because like he said, we've given too many away recently, been conceding all over the shop this season, and it's just not good enough. So really like to see a clean sheet.
Okay.
I just want us to manage the game well. If we can get in front, try and manage it better, and not have it seesawing backwards and forwards, up and down, Want us to try and have, a measure of control tomorrow.
Okay. Makes sense.
Sunday. Keep saying tomorrow.
Right.
Sunday.
It does seem like the game is going to be tomorrow. Or feels like it should be tomorrow. I'm happy it isn't, actually. I'm happy it isn't. It's going to be a case where I'd rather let the league kind of work itself out a little bit. And I think, what time is... and Arsenal are playing an hour after us as well?
I think they're playing tomorrow, aren't they? Oh no, they're playing earlier on the Sunday. They play earlier than us. They must play at 2:00, I think, maybe. They'll probably kick off at 2 and we kick off at 4:30.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. I see why my camera is not cooperating. It's off. My camera's not plugged in for some reason. But what is the biggest thing from the presser, one of the biggest things from the presser that I think that had everyone kind of breathe a sigh of relief has to be Ryan Gravenberch is fully fit and available for selection. With Grav, would you bring him straight back into the 11, and which role do you think we need to play him at as well? Do you think that he plays like, is he going to be playing DM for us, or is he going to be playing right center half for us?
Yeah. Yeah. I want him to play DM and not to do as much roving, as much getting forward. Just concentrate on covering Ibu and Virgil. I mean, we can do that. That's what I think we've been trying to do too many things at once at the start of this season, and giving him, more license to roam might not necessarily be the best thing at the moment. Just try, because he said we're giving up too many chances, and that could be. It might. There's a number of reasons why we've been giving up so many chances, but I just want a really solid defensive display tomorrow. But I mean, they've got a new look attack, haven't they? They've got some good new attackers. Mbuemo, Cunha, Sesko's a handful. It's just the rest that goes with it, isn't it? What sort of performance he'll get out of their wing backs and out of their defence, the centre mid.
Who's the player you have your eye on the most for United?
Well, it's usually Bruno if they have a good game. If United play well, generally, like in most games, Bruno's at the centre of it, isn't he? And he's always one to watch, like. But yeah, the forwards, because obviously he'll be servicing them and playing off them, trying, getting chances himself, maybe. So we've got to watch him closely. We've got to watch all their dangerous players. But I just hope that Arne's plans, are better than Amram's plans, because I'm sure they've both got a good idea of how to get a result tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I think we've got better players. We've got a better team. We've got a better squad. So hopefully that'll carry us over the line. Someone will do something special to get us going. And then I just want to, if we get in front, that is, I don't want to predict anything, but take anything for granted. But if we get in front, I want us to be a bit more controlled when we're in front. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally know what you mean.
Pass the ball around, keep it away from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really big game for both coaches, I suppose. Like, they both really need a win, don't they? Maybe a draw for Amram.
Would you go as far? Tell us in the chat too. Who do you think the pressure is on in this game? Who do you think? I've heard this question. I put it out there too. Which one of these teams do you think the pressure has more of the pressure on their back? I mean, I know I've heard a lot of United supporters say that they don't believe it's them because their team hasn't won back-to-back games. They don't believe it's them because they know that their team isn't, quote unquote, a better team than us. They also know that they are playing at Anfield. So the pressure is more on them to get a result, on us to get a result, than it is them to get a result. I don't know. It's a good question. I'll tell you what does suck to hear is that Ali is not going to be he's still not in the group training. He will miss this match and potentially the next match as well. So this is a big, big, big opportunity for Mamardashvili to really, really solidify himself as our number 2, if not our future number 1. Nothing replaces Ali's calmness and, not just his saves, but his aura in the net absolutely are something relevant. But Mamardashvili is doing a pretty decent job in as a deputy for him. I do want to see better communication between him and the back line, taking a little bit, Ali has no problem telling players where they need to be and getting involved with shouting barking out orders and that along with Virgil. But I think defenders also have to get a little bit of confidence in Mamardashvili, knowing that he's going to be able to do certain things that Ali normally can do. And that is one most notable thing is, being able to pass back to Mamardashvili and have a little bit better distribution with the ball. I think would be very key to see with him. The other player, before we get into the final portions of what Slot had to say in the presser, the other player that everyone wanted to hear a update on was Ibu. Ibu's expected return to training on Friday, which is today, obviously, and Konate is set to return, but there are still some of us that would prefer to give Ibu a little bit of a rest. Let's put it that way. I would go as far as, do you think Slot should reintegrate him in immediately, despite, because he did have a knock, a niggle, as you guys call it over there, or should we continue with, or should we proceed, I should say, with the plan of what I'm suggesting is let's bring in Gomez, maintain some chemistry and rhythm, and try something different in that role. What are your thoughts, Lee?
Well, I'd imagine that Slot's, obviously Joe will have been in, only when the others are away on. There've been a few players left over, won't there, who weren't away. So he'll have been looking at that. I don't know what's going to happen at centre-half. At least we know that he's come back to training. But, I mean, Alisson wasn't scheduled to be back until after the next international break, was he? When he first got injured.
Yeah.
He said, so, if he's going to come back at all before the next international break, that's an improvement, isn't it? I'm pleased about that, then, if he is scheduled to come back a good bit sooner than what they said, because he's still the best keeper in the world, and we need him. I think he'll probably stick with Ibu if Ibu's fit, but if Ibu isn't right, if he isn't totally ready, then I think Joe will come in, won't he, and be able to stake his claim.
I think what was great, or not great, but I'll go as far as to say great, because it is the fact that this coach is recognizing some of the things that we as fans are not only recognizing, but criticizing him over the lack of. And that is, he understands that we need some defensive improvements. Slot said that the defense is improving, but still inconsistent. With specific tactical tweaks could solidify that back line against a side that thrives on transitions. And that's the question. Can we do that? He says Slot sees progress at the back, but called for greater consistency. He also said, as far as, and that's why I'm actually asking for Gomez to be put into the lineup. I think that you might get some consistency in not only defense, whereas you'll get a level of consistency that you would have gotten from Ibu, but the difference is distribution. I think that Gomez is a better distributor of the ball when it comes to our line, and players or teams are allowing for Ibu to get the ball, they're trying to force him to be the funnel of where our back line can generate any bit of offense. And that's the issue, to me at least. That's one of the.
It wasn't Chelsea, wasn't it? Chelsea exposed that
immensely. Yep, and that's why it's a super issue, and that's going to have an impact. A downhill impact on our chance creation. He talked about while overall chances are down from last season, the team still leads in open play chances and shots on target. He was very, very vocal in the sense of saying that it's really, really more about, fine margins when it comes to our team and some of these losses and some of the wins, but certainly some of these losses that we've had. He said about how, like, despite the fact that we did lose one or two of these games where you could go as far as to say that we were the better team in that game. It's just that we weren't obviously the better team when it came down to the score result. When it comes to chance creation, and then I'm going to go with one last point before we get out of here. When it comes to chance creation, Liverpool lead the league in open play chances, despite overall creation being slightly down. Does that suggest to you, Lee, that quality over quantity, or is that an attack still searching for its clinical edge?
I think it's a bit of both. I would say it's a little bit of both there. I mean, yeah, we have been creating chances. Like we took some of them, but not all of them. And he was right in saying, that he was highlighting the positives of our bad run, that we did still create chances. Mm-hmm. We just got to take them, haven't we? If we get any against United, we've got to make sure we snap them up. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping Isak's a lot. But he was saying about Isak being more up to speed now, wasn't he? Like, and I'm hoping that's the case against United. Mm-hmm. Whether he starts or not, I don't know. But
the goals conceded thing has to change though. I mean, I've seen a lot of people reference the fact of I think it's like 9 goals in the last couple of games that we've allowed to allow opposition to score on us. He admitted that the side has conceded too many goals recently and must tighten up its defense. Are these lapses more about structure to you, or are they individual mistakes, or is it maybe just psychological toll of recent defeats? Like, as in, how sometimes a team can kind of get rutted in their own muck, in essence, like you kind of like you it's one of those things where the player knows what to do. The player has the talent to do what he needs to do. It's just that he's like kind of stuck in his head with like certain ways of getting out of that sequence. What is it for you? Is it more, again, is it about structure, it's individual mistakes, or is it psychological?
I think the whole team, it's not just the defense. Like, while we've been letting in goals, it's the entire team. It always is, you know what I mean? It's never just down to your defense. It's the entire team that defends. And it hasn't been good enough, like, but he said that, like, that was one of the first points he made, like, in his press conference, that we haven't been good enough defensively, and that has to change. Just remains to be seen, like, how quickly we can change that. Because we got Frankfurt and then Brentford, haven't we, on the back of the United game, both away. So games aren't getting any easier. Mm-hmm. But we just need to start it off. We need to start this run off with a victory.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of all three, kind of, which is the sad. That's why there's so much to work out. I mean, it's like fatigue and frustration.
The midfields look very ineffectual at times, like, and people have just poured through it, like, and straight onto Virgil. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, Ibu has been shit in his form, like, but it's not just him; it's the whole team that defends. So if I can say that in defense of him, that there are other players on the pitch, like, that could help him out a bit more. Him and Virgil. I see. The thing is, Arsenal have hardly conceded any goals. Have they conceded 3?
Their defense looks tight. Yeah, but they've always made an emphasis on defense.
Yeah, and we've conceded like 9, is it?
Yeah, at least 9. At least 9. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference of 6 there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at this lineup. That I'm going to do my lineup. I'm going to allow for Lee to give his ideas or what he believes would be his lineup, not necessarily Slot's lineup, but his lineup. And then what we'll do is we'll bring out what we believe Slot is going to end up doing because I don't think that Slot's going to go with what I would prefer to see. But at least you'll have it out there as to know what we're talking about. And you can do the same in the chat too. You can include who you think is going to be in this lineup for you. And then just put Slot's lineup or put your lineup. How about that? Just to make sure I know what you're trying to say for us, just to bring into the conversation. But I'll start in goal as usual. There's no selection headache here. Ali is still out with the muscle issue. It's another opportunity for Marmardashvili, and I thought he did well at Chelsea despite giving up those goals. I understand he shipped in too, but I can't really pin any of them specifically on him being a bad keeper or being an individual mistake. Maybe one of them he could have possibly stepped up a little bit more on, but not. I mean, that's maybe splitting hairs. His handling looked assured, and the distribution was better. As in, I think that he is a keeper that is able to distribute the ball. I'll put it this way, because I've played keeper in my life. Sometimes goalkeepers aren't good with their feet, but they're good with obviously their hands, and they can distribute by throwing the ball as opposed to trying to kick the ball. I always prefer to actually be able to throw the ball rather than have to kick the ball, to be honest with you. But I'm looking at him as being a start. So that's the one player I believe is a lock to be definitely a start. There are a couple, but he's certainly one of them, I think. Big stage, yes, but I'm hoping he can play the part for us against Manchester United. Left back. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. I'm going to star your lineups. I see Red Armchair Supporter just put his in. I will just put them in, and then when you put them in, I'll star them, and I'll bring them up just as we get through these. On the left side, there's been a fair fight between, I think, Robbo and Kirkez. I think some have been a little bit too harsh or critically harsh on Kirkez. I'll be honest with you. I could possibly be one of those people that you could lump into that boat. But I also think that in turn, there have people that have not given enough respect and appreciation for Robertson, therefore having him be subjugated to a little bit too much ridicule as well. But both have had their ups and downs, I think. I'll be honest. I'd go with Robbo in this position. Just the gravity of the game, just the fact that it is Anfield, just the fact that he played for Scotland. Wasn't his greatest of games, but he's got an assist. Kirkez hasn't really given a lot going forward just yet. His body shape and build-up can close the lane. I get that, and that's coachable. But defensively, the team and the value of leadership is important. And that's why defensively, if he doesn't give much away and tends to lock his flank, which I like, then you're really taking a chance on saying, I'm going to say, oh, we're going to put Kirkez in as Mbeumo or who's going to be on the other side, actually? Who's on the other side other than Mbeumo? Hold on 1 second. I'll pull up who I thought they're going to go with. Or Mason Mount, to be honest with you. I don't know why I didn't miss that out. You'll understand why that was a space. That was a mental space. But Mason Mount, maybe, on that other side. It's something that I think is going to be a problem or issue to have had. Mbeumo will probably play on the right, I believe. So he'll probably play against Mbeumo. And I just think that I'm leaning Robbo. Consistency of selection matters. Relationship need time on the pitch. But I don't think, again, these are my picks. These are all my picks. And then at right back, I do think Bradley gets the nod at right back. You can make a case for Frimpong, of course, but Bradley's had a rest with Northern Ireland missing their second game he missed the second game through suspension, but he was He was fantastic in that first game that he played in. 31 duels he had in that game. Let me repeat that. He had 31 duels in that game against Slovakia. Excuse me. And 31 duels contested says everything you have to know about a player that's getting involved. That's like being aggressive, getting himself into the mix. He understands that fixture. We saw last season that when he came on late, he immediately firmed up that side. Add the pre-existing link with Salah, and for me, he's the right call here. And then those are my fullbacks. I'll let Lee give his fullbacks. Now, who would you go for? Obviously, Mamardashvili is going to be your center, be your keeper. But left back, right back, what are you doing? What are you doing? Not what Slot's doing. What are you doing? Oh, you there, Lee? Maybe not. Let me see. Lee, you there? Oh, I think something might have gone wrong with Lee's mic. So I'll just keep going on. The beauty of live television. Look, center backs. I'm going to bring center backs. Virgil's non-negotiable. Obviously, he's the captain of our team. He is the spine. He is the nucleus of our defense. Period. On the right side, however, that's where the question is. I know there's been talk about Konate, some of it overblown. If we're honest, a lot of players' form has been affected by relationships still forming across the team, across the entire back line. United will likely go quite direct again, I believe. Long, physical, early balls, probably long balls as well, because it worked for them last time in that game. I thought Konate actually handled the aerial side very well. Ideally, though, I'd be tempted to go with Gomez here. If there's any question about Konate's fitness, I'd rather err on the side of precaution when it comes to that. And I understand that Slot said that Konate will be involved in training today. He'll get a good read on what he needs to do and what he needs to, whether he can trust them. But I think Gomez should be the player that steps in. Lee, I don't know if Lee can hear us or not, but when you do get back, definitely tell us. And I'm hoping it's not me that's like frozen or something. I hope that's not the case. Midfield attack, again, into the midfield. Main worry for people was Ryan Gravenberch after he came off at halftime for the Netherlands. From what's been indicated, that was more of a game state and load management than anything sinister. You there, Lee?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. They were 3-up in that game. He plays a lot for club and country. Obviously, you take the chance. I think you take the chance to rest him, but for Liverpool, the matters are different. So I think he's the best option at the base right now. I think he's the best DM in the Prem right now, despite some other people's suggestion that he's not. Maybe some don't even have him in the top 3, if not top 5, which is like, These are supporters, by the way. These are arguments that I've had on panels with Liverpool supporters saying that Gravenberch isn't the best at his position. But look, he's pressure resistant, calm, first pass through pressure, blah, 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 blah. Gets a nod for me. Alongside him, I'm going to go with Damas Szoboszlai. I think Damas Szoboszlai, I put that out there. I think one of my first episodes of the year of this campaign was an episode where we tried to basically speak on who we thought would be one of the, like, the MVP, or who would be like the most important player and the likes. I did a whole session on Damas Szoboszlai and how I believe that he was going to be one of the heart and souls of our team going forward in this campaign. I know a lot of people want to just, disingenuously try to put him in as, oh, he needs to be a right back, or he needs to be this, and he needs to be that. He needs to just be doing what he is, which is a player that can play multiple roles for us. And that's why I think he's so invaluable to our team. Let's see. He gives you legs, bite, end product, wins it, uses it, and can score from range. Obviously, the set pieces is where we saw that. He's been our best midfielder this year so far, which is something that a lot of people did not envision. Some people last year wanted this player gone, which is incredibly, incredibly harsh. In the role of 10, though, I don't have Dom. I have Florian Wirtz. I think that I want this game to be the Florian Wirtz show, the breakout performance that we're all looking for, all wanting. He's got to become an influence quickly, and the 10 is where we can feed him the right pictures, half turns between lines, quick bounces with the 9, disguises into the channel. That's a lot of noise, I'm sure, that you've heard around him, us being 008 or 9 or whatever it is now. My view hasn't changed. The more you put him on the pitch, the faster he acclimates. And I think that Florian Wirtz is going to – I think Florian Wirtz has to be our version of – Florian Wirtz has to be our Trent Alexander-Arnold in this retribute. The way that Trent Alexander-Arnold was one of the centerpieces of our offense for Jurgen Klopp, I want to see Florian Wirtz be one of the centerpieces of our offense for Arne Slot. So I've only got one last little spot. I'll say this real quick, and then we're going to hear Lee's picks. Real quickly, front line. It's real simple because it's the front line we've seen all year, except for maybe one exception. On the left, I'm going Gakpo. He grabbed a goal against Chelsea, obviously, from the assist from Isak. Scored for the Netherlands this weekend, was on fire for the Netherlands, actually, this weekend. That should have him sharp. Hopefully, he can contain that. He can retain that sharpness. His inside-out runs are important for Wirtz's angles, in my opinion. Through the middle, I'm going to have Isak. Big moment for him to go to do his get behind me type thing or whatever celebration. He had the mini preseason top up. Arne says he's ready to play 90. Let's see him get involved like a 90-minute player. And then on the right, no debate. I think despite the fact that he has played poorly, I still am not going to go as far as to say that Chiesa should start over him, and that is Mohamed Salah should start on the right. Yes, the form has been, hasn't been electric, but he had the lift, I think, possibly emotionally, with Egypt qualifying for the World Cup, and he sees a lot of the ball in those fixtures as well. He even scored, and I think he assisted in his last game with Egypt. He always carries gravity. He always loves a Manchester United fixture. Chiesa is an excellent switch, but Mo starts here for me. I'm going to ask for Lee to give me his, not Arnie's, but his lineup, because I'll show you this real quick. Red Armchair Supporter says he's going Marmar, Kirkes, VVD, Konate, If Fit, Bradley, Grav, Dom, Wirtz, Gakpo, Isak, and Mo. Basically the same lineup except for Kirkes instead of Robbo for him, and Konate instead of Gomez, and that's it. Everyone else is the same. What are you doing with your lineup?
Mamardashvili, Bradley, Ibu, Virgil, Kirkes, Gravenberch, McAllister, Wirtz, Gakpo, Isak, Salah. So Dom will have to start on the bench. Unless we play Wirtz on the left and Dom in the 10. That would mean Cozy on the bench. No, I'll play Cozy and McAllister as well. So I'll leave Szoboszlai as a sub, an impact sub that we might need.
You're going to use Spotlight. You're dropping Spotlight.
Well, it's either him or Gakpo. Yeah, because I want Wirtz to play.
Okay.
So it's either Szoboszlai or Gakpo.
This is the lineup that I would have gone with. Actually, this is the lineup I would have I'd go with. That's the lineup I would go with. You're saying you're going to drop Wirtz and you're going to drop Dom and who else going to drop? And bring in McAllister. So it'll be Grab and McAllister. So I have one with that. Is this more like, and then you're still going to drop Dom.
Unless drop Gakpo and put Wirtz on the left. Ask him to play off the left.
Okay. There you go. I like it. Red Iron Trend supporter. I feel you.
Yeah. Old, but good.
Okay. You got Kirkez starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Kanate starting as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically this lineup, but you'd have Dom dropped and you're dropping Cody as well, you said too, or you're starting Cody?
I'll start Cody.
Okay.
Put Dom on the bench, yeah. So then, like, Dom and Hugo could come on together as a double sub in the second half. We might need them, but we might already be in front. But we're going to need to make the subs at some point, like, to keep them occupied. Same with Gakpo and Salah. Like, if they start, we've got Rio and Chiesa, haven't we, for later in the match?
Which do you think? Here, I'm going to show Bonkers lineup too here. Bonkers is going Mamadashvili, Frimpong. Oh, he's starting Frimpong. That's the first. I haven't heard Frimpong get a shout by many people, Bonkers. That's cool. Ibu, VVD, Kirkez. And I see why you would possibly want Frimpong, because I think that could really, really take advantage of their back three. Grab, Jones, Spotlight, Mo, Eketike, and you have Eketike starting on the left. I take it, and Isak starting in the middle. Okay, all right. An opportunity to maybe see them start finally together, or at least play together in the same lineup. That'd be interesting. Be definitely interesting. I don't mind Dominic. I don't mind Eketike and Isak starting together. Obviously, that's the campaign I'm on. Is the the two striker campaign is what I've been on from like since the day we got Isak. I've been saying basically, now that we have two of the more elite strikers in the league, let's utilize them as our left and right punch. I just don't know. It sounds harsh, but I don't know if playing with Salah with them as two strikers is ideal. That's all. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying that. Not saying that Salah is not a good player or not capable of playing in the roles that we need him, but I just think he would be better. Salah's a better suited when he gets to play his inside forward role, as opposed to trying to if it means having one striker, as opposed to trying to play inside forward role having two strikers involved. But again, I know that what Bonkers is saying is he means him on the left as opposed to in the middle. I do have a lineup that I think he's going to go with. This is actually the lineup that I think I think Slot is going to go with right here. I think Slot is going to go with this lineup. There could be a slight change. A player that Bonkers just mentioned too, by the way, that I think truthfully you can argue deserves a shout to start. And that is Jones. I think Curtis Jones has played very well, and you could give him there could be a concerted effort to say that he deserves a shout to start. But I guess we will see. Certainly we'll see if I am even remotely close, because these are the two lineups, again, I see as being Slot. Who do you think? You just gave me your ideas of what you'd like to see. What do you think Slot's going to play? What do you think Slot? That's what we're all here for. What do you think Slot's going to do?
I think it'll be pretty similar to that. For Slot, possibly McAllister or Wirtz instead of Jones, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's what he'll do. If Ibu's fit, I think he'll start him. I don't think he'll make it now to change him. But Joe's got to come in at some point anyway, and he'll be able to stake his claim then. But I think if Ibu's ready to play, he will start him. The main question is what he does, with Wirtz, whether he plays Szoboszlai and Wirtz together, or I think it depends how fit McAllister is now and how he is after his journey. Because it might be Szoboszlai in the pivot with Gravenberch, right, and then Wirtz ahead of them.
Right. I don't want to see McAllister start, not because I don't think he's a good enough player or I've lost confidence in him or anything like that. I just don't want to see McAllister play after the long travel. That's all. I just know how it's not easy. The wear and tear sometimes from long distance that he has to travel is not necessarily easy on the legs. But you don't think he'll start McAllister either?
I'm hoping he does. I want him to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it will be better for it. Like if McAllister's at a higher level, he sort of hinted that McAllister because when he mentioned about Isak being closer to his peak fitness, he also threw McAllister in there. Saying, look, he didn't have a pre-season. We've been trying to get him right, and hopefully he's ready because I want him to play. Like I always think we look better, with him and Gravenberch in tandem. I think that'll help Wirtz as well settle better. Like if he's got, if he's got them two behind him, because they did so well together last season.
Yeah,
as well as Szoboszlai's done in that position in the 8. I still prefer McAllister any day of the week, and same with Jones. Although I value both players, I prefer McAllister as a partner, Gravenberch, in the pivot.
I'm gonna do this unique to try to create a new section or selection or segment of the show, of these previews at least, and I'm gonna say 12th man's how we win the game. This is how we will win the game. Tight levers is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna give you 3 things that decide this for me. First and second balls, United will go long at times. They'll want to win but we'll want to win that first duel, whether it's Gomez, whether it's Ibu, and especially it's Virgil van Dijk. And the second with Gravenberch and Dominic right under it. We have to win first and second balls. Don't give them the opportunity to create chaos in that back line with the open spaces that they'll try to create. Second would be right side repetition. Look, we've got to get Mohamed Salah started somehow, some way. He was our catalyst last year. He's struggled to get involved this year. Looks out of place, sometimes looks disjointed in our attack this year, but we need to choose one pattern and lean on it. I think either Szoboszlai inside feeds to Salah early, 1-2s will be fantastic, or Bradley overlaps with the cutback for Isak. That's my key to what we need to see. Repetition breeds rhythm, rhythm breeds chances, and we want to score on these opportunities. So that's my second point. My final point is for the man who I think has to be one of the cornerstones of our team, and that is Wirtz needs touches where it hurts. Give him 5 front-facing receptions in the first 15 minutes. That's what I'm asking. Get him involved. Get him involved early. If they're pivot bites, fantastic. But if not, Gakpo gets the seam. We can absolutely create something for him on that left side. Maybe even allow for something to be orchestrated towards Isak or Salah. But it needs to happen. If they hold, Salah can receive early and we can play off of him. But we need to get Verts touches early and get him involved quickly and repetitively. Those are my 3 big things to decide. You'll see. Hopefully I'm not that. Maybe you'll hear, if you hear a commentator say something that I just said, all right, just remember where you heard it first. But Lee, what's your score prediction for this game? What is your score prediction for this game?
2-1. 2-1 to us. Okay. Stole a little bit of my fury. I'm going 2-1 as well. Yeah. Who do you have scoring, by the way?
If you really want me to, Isak and Salah. Mo likes United as an opponent.
Okay.
Although Cozy could revive his couple of finishes from the 7-0. One of them would do nicely.
It will. I have actually 2-1. I have a Mason Mount goal for them. And I have not in any particular order, but I have a goal from Isak and I have a goal from Cody. I have a goal from Isak and a goal from Cody. I would love to put a goal from Verts in that, but I have Verts getting an assist. One of those assists is going to be Verts' assist, hopefully. Tell us in the chat what your score prediction is, or who you have scoring as well, by the way, so you can get it on record. Excuse me. Red Hunter Sports going for the clean sheet. Big up. I'd love to see us get a clean sheet against them. Definitely, kind of answer some of these problems that we have with our defense by giving them a boost in the arm. We've got, for the next 21 days, we've got 7 games in 21 days, people. That's the number I've heard, by the way. 7 games in 21 days.
Busy period.
Busy bees is what we're going to be. Red Armchair supporter says Isak double. Nice. Gets a brace for a 2-0. All right. I got you on that one. Got you marked and locked and loaded. 2-1. 2-1's my head thinking, or what my brain is telling me. I want a 4-0. 4-0 is what my heart wants. Just telling you that. So there you go. You can give us a heart. You can give us one from the heart too. One you'd love to see. Lee, you can tell us what you'd love to see, of course. It can't be something completely outrageous like 9-0 or 8-0 or something like that. I've heard someone say 6-0 already as a prediction.
No, I don't think we're going to get results like that against them anymore. They were quite freakish, them results that happened. The best we could hope for probably for me would be 3-1, but I'm going for 2-1. It's the first game back after the break, and it is a big game, and they are a tough opponent with good players, who we haven't won against in our last 2 home games. So 2-1 sounds about right to me. As much as I'd like a clean sheet, I'll give them a go. Who scores it, I don't know.
I think we got a little bit for a little while, especially against United, we got a little bit spoiled you would say, with like the, traveling to Old Trafford for like 5-0, and obviously the 7-up game, which came out of nowhere because they were very good at. They were on great form for that, and then the next time United visits Anfield after the 7-up game, we see a 0-0 game. So yeah. I am certainly hoping for that as well. What? So let me make sure too. One thing. Make sure all right, so we got our things in. We got our didn't Chiesa gets in this game, by the way? Can we have a Chiesa sighting? Do you think we have a Chiesa sighting in this game, possibly?
Yeah, I would like to hope so. I would like to think so at some point. Although, with the amount of subs we've got and the amount of players we've got in forward positions, I'm not altogether sure he'll play. But I'd like to think so. I'd like to think he'll get a few minutes at least to have a run at them.
How about? Do you think what do you think our bench is going to be, by the way? I'd like to see Rio get into this game, by the way. I'd like to see Chiesa and Rio be our 2 subs off the bench if we're looking for some offensive punch. I'd like to see Rio and Chiesa both get involved.
Yeah.
Ekitike obviously will be involved at some point probably in this game one way or another.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be on our bench?
I think McAllister might be on the bench. So BM, Ekitike.
So McAllister, Ekitike.
Oh, Verts, if this lineup's right.
Verts, okay. Frimpong, okay.
Yeah, Frimpong, Robertson, Gomez.
Then Jones, or not Jones, or
who's the goalie sub with Alisson out? Who's after Woodman in it? That Woodman.
Yeah, Woodman. Yep.
Yeah, Jones will be on the bench. I don't think Jones will start, but Jones will be on the bench.
So Jones, and you have one more. So that leaves one spot left: Rio or Chiesa. That's a shame. Rio could probably get the short end of the stick. Ekitike, Chiesa, and Rio are top class options off the bench. Who says we don't have a squad? I don't know. I think that our squad. I think our depth is actually better than a lot of people give us credit for, despite the fact that I understand that we do have an issue at center half now with the absence of Leone, who I thought would have been a well targeted 4th choice, but as being our center half. But yeah, I think that we have lots of options when it comes to midfield and our forward line. We have more options than we normally have in those roles. But yeah. All right. Questions. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we bounce and wrap this up? We're coming up on a 90th minute here.
No, I think we've covered it, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much covered it for now. See what the games tomorrow bring, eh?
Yeah. See how close to. We'll keep an eye on what games there are to watch tomorrow. Tomorrow's games, or I'll just bring them up right here as well. Tomorrow's games are going to be Forest and Chelsea, then Sunderland and Wolves, City, Everton. That should be an interesting game. That's at the Etihad, though. Crystal Palace hosting Bournemouth. That should be a really good game, actually.
Yeah, that's a good tie. That.
Yeah, Bournemouth has played well under the radar well. I think I would go as far as to say, Semenyo have an amazing season so far for them. Burnley Leeds. Ooh, that's one for to try to grab points to get out of that relegation battle. That's at Burnley. Leeds will definitely be trying to fight hard for that one. Brighton, Newcastle. Oof. All right. Fulham, Arsenal, Tottenham, Villa. Then we have our matchup, and then the last game would be West Ham, Brentford. Wow. All right. Some good games. Real quick. We had like I'm a little short of 90. I'll go a little extended. Forest, Chelsea. Who you going with Forest and Chelsea? Who you liking that game? Whatever team I say first is the home team, by the way.
Probably Chelsea, given how shit Forest have been underhand so far. I'd give Chelsea the edge in that one.
Okay. Sunderland, Wolves.
Sunderland, because they're at home.
Yep, I agree with that. Sunderland's played well so far this year. City, Everton. You gotta go
City, because there's no Grealish, is there? As much as I'd like Everton to get a result, can't see it without Grealish.
Could you see maybe a draw in that game?
Possibly. But without Grealish, it takes quite a bit off them. I think they've got someone else missing as well. But anyway, yeah. But it's just Haaland's back.
Oh, wait. So let me open up that game real quick. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Grealish is on loan, he can't play in that game. That's right. And Brantwaite is still out. What is Brantwaite hurt from?
Don't
know. Got to ask your pops. Maybe you know.
All
right. Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. That's going to be a tough game.
Draw. I'd say a draw for that
one. That's a tough game. I want to say, that's a tough game. Crystal Palace has been playing so well, but I just, eventually you're expecting some of the wheels to drop off at some point. Burnley Leeds. Can Leeds get a result there? Or is that a draw in the making?
We could get a result there, but I'm not quite sure they will. I'll go for a draw in that one.
Yeah. Draw. Brighton hosting Newcastle. That's going to be a tough one, too. Brighton's a good team, but they've just been playing. Brighton has the most own goals this year so far.
Tough one, that. Be a close game, I think. I don't know. I'll go for Newcastle.
Yeah, I figured you would. Excuse me. I figured you would, since they have your favorite player on there, Mr. Gordon. Commissioner Gordon. Fulham, Arsenal.
No.
Excuse me. Ken Fulham. I was recognizing this. I mean, I've recognized it before, but it was just re-emphasized this past weekend as I was looking at these features and how, there's so many different games coming up. And I remember someone was trying to basically, there was some guy on DR Sports that was trying to basically say that, what did he say? He said something on the lines of that Manchester United and Liverpool isn't a proper derby. It's not a real derby. And he said something else stupid too. He said something. He's a Manchester United fan too. He was saying something about. I think he said something about. Was it Tottenham? Oh no, he was saying it was about Chelsea. He was talking about Chelsea and how Chelsea versus Arsenal or Chelsea versus Tottenham isn't a real derby, isn't a real London derby because Chelsea has been so hospitable in transferring players from Chelsea to, let's say, Arsenal, for instance. I don't know about that. That's that. It was a weird take. It was a very, very weird take. Robbie's brother and I'm going blank on her name. She's cool too. She's the Tottenham supporter on DR Sports. They were adamantly trying to prove that he was way out of place in saying what he was saying. But again, Fulham, obviously, London team, Arsenal, London team. Technically a derby, a London derby, right?
Mm-hmm. Don't give Fulham much hope for getting a result, but I hope they can. Arsenal don't look like a team that are going to drop too many points in the next couple of months to me.
So you're going Arsenal? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'd say a draw. I'd say a Fulham draw. I'm calling it a Fulham draw because everyone has Arsenal winning. All right, Tottenham versus Villa. Tottenham at home. Spurs at home against a now starting to warm up Villa. That's going to be a tough game for Spurs.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think Emery will scrounge the results out of this, draw out of this. Okay. He'll manage to get a draw out of this, I think.
All right. And let's see. Obviously, we already know what our picks are for our derby, but for West Ham Brentford, which is the final game on Monday. West Ham Brentford. Oh, West Ham is just what a shame. They've just really, really. Nuno, can Nuno get a result, Lee? It's the last game. West Ham Brentford.
Yeah, I think Nuno could get a result. I think it would be a draw rather than a victory. I'll say it's a draw. Because Brentford haven't been too bad so far.
Okay. Celebrity Traders. I think it is. I think it is Gordon on Celebrity Traders. Right, I'm just for. I think it is. All right. So you've got the crystal ball predictions of Lee. You had a couple from me myself too. I tried to voice whatever ones I thought as well. But we were going for the. I'm trying to remember what he used to call that. It was on the Johnny Carson show. He would do the he'd do the what was the guy's name? He'd do like that. He tried to like I know I'm showing my age now because not many people probably even know who Johnny Carson is.
I only know him by name.
Oh, you only know Johnny Carson by name. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I've seen very, very brief clips of him, but I've never watched him. Because he's never been on British telly. You know what I mean? I just know who he is and that he was a big, big name in light entertainment once upon a time in America.
Yeah. Karnak the Magnificent. That's what he was called. Karnak the Magnificent. He'd come out in this big, crazy hat. He'd have a cloak on himself.
Yeah.
And what he would do is he would get an envelope and he would put it to his head and he'd try to guess what was in the envelope. And it would be obviously some comedic style of approach where he'd make a joke. It'd be some type of joke or something like that. But Johnny Carson is the Elvis Presley. Johnny Carson is what Elvis Presley is to rock and roll.
Yeah. So for talk
to
show
late
host,
night television, late night TV, at
night
least.
talk show host,
Yeah, late night talk show host.
He's sort of like the archetype.
Johnny Carson. There's Johnny Carson and everyone else. Yeah. I mean, like David Letterman for some people, maybe.
And watch some of them. Like I've been watching some old Letterman interviews recently.
Exactly.
Like, but I'll have to look up some Johnny Carson stuff.
Yeah, Johnny Carson's like, yeah, Johnny Carson was huge. He was the late night. He wasn't late night. He was like the late night. Put it this way, Johnny Carson, David Letterman was the talk show host that his show was after Johnny Carson. So you'd watch Johnny Carson and then you'd watch David Letterman after Johnny Carson on NBC.
Yeah.
So, and then that's why it was a big thing, because David Letterman didn't get the gig, and David Letterman didn't get the gig, and Jay Leno did, and that was like David Letterman was like appalled because he thought that he was like, you know, the heir apparent, and then that's why David Letterman went to CBS. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, enough of the history, the late night television history. No one's tuned in for that. I can already see the numbers probably going like this for viewers watching, listening to this. All right, we're coming up on the 90th minute. What is it that you'd like to say to people before we let them do their thing?
Just cheers to whoever's been in, and hopefully we'll get some good results tomorrow as well as Sunday. We'll get some favourable results tomorrow, or at least a couple that make us laugh, such as Everton getting something at City. That would be pleasing. But obviously the main game is us, isn't it? And I suppose to a certain extent Fulham Arsenal, but that's on Sunday like us as well. They must be kicking off at 2, Arsenal on Sunday, because I doubt they'll be like, they won't be earlier than that. They must be kicking off at 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But just hope things go well and we can get back to winning.
Get back to winning would be very, very nice. Be very nice. Let's have it. If you can put in, check out a song called Salt and Pepper from a Scottish band called Pete and Diesel. Great video. Okay, I will check that out. Have you ever heard of them, by the way?
I haven't, no. But I'll look into that. Okay,
I will definitely check that out. Still, let's get this win on Sunday. Let's also hopefully see some of our rivals or some of the people that we were contending against drop some points. It will be very nice to lessen the pressure on our team and be able to pursue this title of going back to back more properly. I am going to, let me see if I can get all right. I was trying to see if I get a moment of Zen for you here. All right, it's a proper moment of Zen. All right, so I'll give you your Reds moment of Zen. All right, let me bring this up. 4 rebounds. Oops. All right, wait, hold on. Screen. This is your moment of Zen. Do you remember? I would love to see. Do you actually? I think the one on the right is the one where I think Bruno dived from a bump from Virgil van Dijk, and Virgil van Dijk was like, "What are you doing, man? You're better than this." Like, he gave him a look like, "Come on, bro." Really?
Yeah, Virgil's death stare is brilliant, isn't it? When someone does a lame dive.
Yeah. And then the one on the left was the one on the left is from the 7-Up game, by the way.
Yeah. That's old Sandro about to be put on his arse there, isn't it?
I know.
Turning every which way he can, every which way but loose.
I know. That was the one where he was just like, which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Yeah. It's funny that one.
Oh, it was hilarious. He was spun like a top on that one. Oh my goodness. But people, if you have a funny meme or something that you want to include or something that you want to tell us to go check out, definitely do in the comments. If you can, give us your score predictions. Tell us what you thought of our own, or give us your score predictions. Give us your lineup predictions for tomorrow. If you can get them in before Sunday, be fantastic. Drop them in the comment section. I'd like to thank Lee for gracing us with a little bit of that Scouse love here by giving us his insight and giving us a little bit of insight as to what we should expect for this game. Man on the scene, big up. All right, Lee, stay for like 2 minutes after the show. I won't keep you long this time, but you guys out there having an absolutely incredible Friday, whether it's evening, afternoon, morning, whichever the case. I hope that you have a fantastic day, evening, night again. And also, just remember, you'll never walk alone. Should mean something. It does for me. I know it does for Lee. It's why we all do support each other. Even when it goes beyond just for football, we also support each other in our daily walks in life. It's important to know that we all have support and valuable support in that we have our brethren. So with that said, up the Reds, and until tomorrow,